As of today, there's been a limited number of promo material and content for the 4400 Reboot series. I'm going to piece together as much as possible from the little information that is out there. There will be limited spoilers for the original 4400 TV show, and no spoilers at all for the reboot. To date, there has been a handful of press releases, 7 teaser trailers, and 3 full trailers. Each one of the trailers focused on a different character, and from the press release statements, it indicates that this is going to be a character drama. So we have more information on who these characters are than we do on the plot. I don't expect this to be a one-to-one copy of the original series, but we can clearly see the inspiration that this reboot took from the original USA show. In the future, I'm hoping to make a video comparing and contrasting the plot settings, organizations, and hopefully there'll be some more trailers before that comes out. This cover image is not just clickbait, it's my legitimate predictions for who these characters are loosely based on, and I'll break down each character one by one. Okay, so here we have Jharrel Mateo. This character has no official name given in the press releases, and I got this name exclusively off of IMDb, which we know is not always the most reliable source of information. But the press releases describe this character as an empathetic social worker. In the first full trailer, he is watching the 4400 lined up, and this is an allusion to Tom Baldwin when he is in the hospital, except Jharrel is in a bar. This appears to be the same bar that Reverend Johnson was in when he was abducted. And here we have another one of the non-returning characters called Keisha, and she is described as a by-the-book parole officer. Due to a personal past tragedy, she is worried about the danger that the 4400 could possess to society at large. And based on that very small description, we can sort of surmise that this is maybe a Dianna Skouris type character. It could be that she's the villain of the show, but I suspect it's more akin to Dianna Skouris' hesitation at the 4400 having come from that CDC background. She is a little bit suspicious about whether or not the 4400 are disease vectors. And this is something that she described in the first season. Later, as the series went on, she became much more like Tom Baldwin and was very much on the side of the 4400 and helping them. The 4400 character that seems to be getting the most amount of attention from the promo material from the CW network is Shanice. And she is described as a young, driven lawyer, a resilient mother. She comes from the year 2005. And in the second set of teaser trailers, Shanice is shown to be familiar with Belle Isle, which is where the returnees are returned in the reboot. And the subsequent trailers suggest that she probably was living in Detroit at the time that she was abducted. Now, Brian Moore, who was in a lot of the commercials for the 4400 when it first aired, was not in a lot of the promo materials after the show had aired. He wasn't really a key player in the series moving forward and did not appear after season 2 at all. But this character is in a lot of the promo materials, Logan. He is the husband of Shanice. He's described as a loving and supportive husband. He raised their daughter alone, and he is shocked when Shanice arrives. And from the trailer, we can tell that he accuses Shanice of having walked out on the family. So we can see these two characters marry the relationship that Lilly and Brian had. There's this unexpected reunion, they become estranged, there's a rocky relationship, and there's nothing that says he remarried, but it is clear that he is angry in this trailer and does not want to introduce her back into the family. Now, Dr. Andre, this character seems fascinating. He is a World War I army surgeon, fresh from the Harlem Renaissance. He's a transgender male, a doctor, and he becomes a doctor for the 4400. And it would appear that they're setting up this character to be the one who is instantly aware of how the public is going to be misunderstanding and mistreating the 4400. But there are a couple of big ideas that are presented in the trailers that weren't in the press releases. There's a character that refers to Dr. Andre as my love, indicating that there may be a romantic subplot for him, or a subplot that is left behind in his past. And this is the most interesting part. He says that he has a medicine that could change the world, and immediately after that he is abducted. So this might be my favorite character already, because instantly, right off the bat in the first episode, he is going to be set up as a character with some knowledge to help save the world. The character of Claudette is described as an influential hidden figure from the Mississippi Civil Rights Movement. She is a preacher's wife from the 1950s and is quick to adapt to 2001. She may be a totally different person this time in surprising and consequential ways. And the second set of trailers specifically say that she is from 1956. Now, I was suspecting that Claudette was going to be a completely original character until the newest set of trailers came out, and then this big scene just quickly flashed by on the screen. Okay, so we can see that Claudette has a healing ability. Now, it could be argued that Dr. Andre has the ability since he is also there in the scene, but considering he is not touching her, and she is, looking at herself, it's suspected that this is her supernatural ability. Now, we know from the original show, Shawn's ability to heal was only for other characters, although you could argue that point in either direction based on the events with the promycin inhibitor arc and the graduation day episode. In either case, I'd say they're very similar just because they both have the healing ability. Reverend Johnson is also another character who figures quite prominently in the promo material. He is from Chicago in the 1990s, and he is described as a man of truth, faith, and compassion. He is accustomed to the power and clout afforded in his position. He emerged as a natural leader among the 4400. This is the most clear and obvious parallel to a character from the previous series. This is clearly like Jordan Collier. Instead of a hotel mogul, this guy is born to a noble televangelist family. It's a powerful and affluent church community, but however, he's described as being the black sheep of that family. And it seems like based on some early press releases for the show, this actor was originally going to portray the Tom Baldwin type character, but then they moved him to this one. And I think that makes most sense as this appears to be the most charismatic actor in the whole show. Hayden's entire character description is based in mystery. It says his origins are a mystery, he's introspective, he's a prescient boy, and he is from the 1930s and kept in an institution. He has an unpleasant past, and he doesn't appear to speak. He's compassionate, and for trying to figure out who he resembles from the original show, we have to look to this last line. It seems that he has insight and knowledge into things he couldn't possibly know. Now, when I first read this, I assumed it was the Tess character, played by Summer Glau in the original series, but it seems more obvious that it's going to be the Maia Skouris character, the Maia Rutledge character from the original show, because he is, as it quotes here, prescient, and that is her supernatural ability. We have two new characters who do not appear to be based on any characters from the original show. We have LaDonna, who is described as seemingly shallow, misunderstood, a D-list reality TV star from Miami in 2015. She is high maintenance, a party girl, and disappeared on her 21st birthday. She comes across as spoiled and vapid. So yeah, probably not a character we're wicked interested in seeing right off the bat. Hopefully this is just leading towards a more interesting character arc where she matures over time. And lastly, we have Mildred, who's described as vibrant, smart, observant. She is from the 1970s, and she quickly finds a couple of allies among the 4400. She seems surprised and content to have left her past behind, and she's described as one of two wildly different unaccompanied teenagers. So she's in some of the trailers as being together with the character Hayden. And that's what it's referring to. So we might see those two characters a lot as the series goes on. To end this, I just want to emphasize that these characters are not carbon copies of the original series, but it is clear that the writers are bringing in the spirit of the original story and bringing to life some really interesting characters by lifting the circumstances that we've seen before. I'm looking forward to the show. Expect to see a plot setting breakdown video in the next few weeks, and then when the show airs, I'm hoping to post an episode by episode recap, review, reference, Easter egg type video. Stay subscribed to the channel, and be sure to watch the premiere of 4400 when it airs on October 25th.